The hard time scenario, which Chantal and I put forward, is where the world is the exact opposite of where it was for 25 years, from 82 to 2007, when we were in a long boom. Hard times is not a second crash, it's just a flat, low growth global economy. And you have to be much more original in order to grow your business in those conditions. So we say to all our clients, there are really three strategies that you've got to consider. Something completely new, like Steve Jobs came up with the iPhone, the iPad, and you build a completely new market. So companies should put even greater emphasis now on innovation. The second is value for money, where even though you're more expensive than your competitor, you actually live your brand. So particularly in advertising, I say it's more than just, you know, the clever ad on TV. It's about how your employees as a company interact with the public to intensify the brand to the point that people see you as value for money. And then the third alternative is just to be the cheaper alternative and to basically go into a sort of price war with your competitors. But we all know that price wars can lead to very dangerous results. Nevertheless, there are some companies which have been very successful in terms of being the cheaper alternative, particularly here in South Africa. We have one other scenario besides hard times. It's called ultraviolet. It's where the old world economies with their aging demographics are flat, but the new world economies offer a real recovery and grow at least 3 or 4 times faster than the old world economies, particularly India, South America, and absolutely for us, Africa. And therefore, I feel very strongly that part of a company's strategy is to explore expanding its geographical footprint into Africa and obviously into places like India and South America. I must point out, though, China faces a demographic cliff because of its one-child policy in 1978, and over the next 20 years, you know, it's actually going to be probably in an even worse position than Europe if it doesn't think of ways of increasing immigration into China. My real feel about advertising game in South Africa is that this country simply hasn't started using the kind of applications that are now available in advertising because of smart technologies. And that, yes, you know, television is still there, but it's got so many channels that it's not like it used to be when you watched the 8 o'clock news, you knew you were going to get a big audience. It's now highly fragmented in many of the classical tools for advertising. And therefore, I absolutely believe that we should be looking at much more techniques to advertise, not with sort of SMSs that really irritate people, but a way of advertising using Twitter, smartphones, which really is amusing and turns people on. Because the one thing, if you think back to all the great ads in South Africa's history, they amuse people, and that's why they get remembered. So I would love to see some creative way of using modern applications of smart devices to amuse people and get across the significance of a product or service. I've done enough work with ad agencies to realize one of the incredible differences in the game is that in the old days, you know, there was a range of people that the client contacted in order to get whatever skills that they required at the time. You really now have to operate like the private banking industry, where you have one person 24/7 for a principal client, and all those clients' anxieties and everything else can be offloaded on that one person. That person is always there, and yes, they might ring up other people, but they know that that is the sort of the real linchpin of the relationship. So personal relationships in advertising have become much more significant, and then you have to reorganize your business model so that that person has access to all the underlying services that you offer and can actually put together a team. And you know, I can see that happening, particularly in places like Europe, where it's that one-on-one relationship. I did a session, I remember, in Paris with a French hotel chain, and they did a survey of their customers as to why they come back to the same hotel more than once. And they thought it would be the special food that they give, the softness of the pillow. And they were totally shattered when the number one reason that clients came back was the warmth of the greeting at reception.